Dear reader, allow me to introduce you to my book. Though it might at first appear like many books you've come, you may therefore have some misunderstandings about its nature. The story that awaits you has not been fully told. In fact, its conclusion is not yet known, even to myself. It is in that way that my book is special. It is in that way that you are special. Without you, there is no story. Chapter Normal isn't what it used to be. This is a story about nestled in a far from the town square, across the river, past the neglected welcome sign, a young boy walks alone at dawn. His name is Luca Van Horn, and like you, dear reader, he's here for a reason. Rollo was Luca's closest friend. He possessed many fine qualities, but subtlety was not one of them. Rollo finally noticed the tears swelling in his friend's eyes, and the flowers on... Wonderful! I had a good feeling about you from the moment you opened my book. That charm is a very special thing. Keep hold of it for now. Its purpose will reveal itself soon enough. Rollo looked to the side, Dear reader, forgive me for this interlude. Remember that charm you found in the dandelion patch? There are more of those special charms to discover throughout Beacon Pines. They've been known to reveal themselves to those who are willing. Some of them can be found in this very house. Gran had already lit the fire. She kept a warm house, as if... One of his father's old stethoscopes. Luca had spent countless hours listening to anything and everything with it. Not for years, though. Since Gran had moved in, the house was more peaceful, more covered in flowery fabric. Just some dusty knickknacks. Oh my! I am now certain that you are the one I've been waiting for all these years. You'll recall I was a bit... Excuse me. I tend to have a flair for the dramatic. You are about to encounter your first... There are certain times in this tale when everything hinges on a single step forth, dear reader. A sturdy old... A beginner's guide... Lucas stared at his feet and muttered under his breath. Right, of course. An array of prepared meals, each labeled with a pair of dull scissors. The only piece of furniture Gran had brought when she moved in. Luca paused at his parents' bedroom door. He just wasn't ready to go in yet. Gran had commandeered the upstairs closet. Some things need shelter from a young boy's mischief. Luca tossed on his favorite old sweater. Even though it was the first day of summer, a chill still hung in the air. Gran's moving in meant that most of Luca's things had been. Luca was somewhat annoyed by. Gran's bed was Luca didn't mind that she had a habit of falling asleep in front of the fireplace. It meant that he could read late into the. Luca knew that if he left without telling Gran, it would be trouble. The less Gran knew, the better for everyone involved. We were just gonna go chill for the day. The best lies are built on easy. Impressive. You've managed to navigate your first turning point without too much of a mess. That is the power of charm. A single word can change everything. I think it's time to introduce you to the Chronicle. The Chronicle is a record of the decisions you've made. You can see the turning point, which has been revealed. At any time, you can use the Chronicle to go back and invoke different charms, creating new branches. Luckily for us, this is the one and only turning point where the charms won't dramatically alter fate. It's the perfect opportunity to experiment with We were just gonna go ponder for the day. This was Luca's chance to sell his Nailed it. Young Luca would spend hours hiding in the bushes, waiting for a chance to jump out and startle his mother. She always enjoyed humoring him by feigning terror. For a town that saw few visitors, the welcome was perhaps more. Chapter 2. Welcome to Beacon Pass. For many years, this valley had been a small mining outpost. It wasn't until Sharper Valentine built his fertilizer company. Over the next 30 years, the town had grown and prospered until the foul harvest and his sudden death. In the 6 years since, whenever Luca saw his dad, it reminded him of the days they'd pack up a couple of sandwiches and fish until sun. Luca opened the tackle box and picked the perfect bait. Luca gently baited, good for skimming the surface. Luca tied a shoe. What fish could resist a nice shoe? Luca gently put first. Luca gently baited a fish, good for skimming. Luca tied. What fish could? The boys had a good thing going. As long as they kept old Jeff happy, they had an endless source of precious material. On certain nights, when Rollo thinks he always thinks. Luca's winter cup with the cold holding out longer. After Luca's father had passed, Rollo became obsessed with them building their own Hank Atomics. It was some time before Luca realized it was Rollo's way of keeping him occupied. William Kerr was the CEO of Perennial Harvest Company. He had become a fixture around town over the past. After the failing of Valentine, the town was hungry to welcome. Mayor Augustus Val. Flustered, Gus instinctively loosened his tie. Mr. Sinclair continued snoring, a tactic. He pulled a pen from the pocket of his sweater vest and began to frantically jot something down on a clipboard. Pete stopped scribbling and glanced up. Miss Hatch could often be found near the fountain, too absorbed in a book to be distracted. Holden Wilder ran the local paper of the Beacon. Luca could see the morning regulars nestled in their booths at the early. Oh, right. Rendezvous with Roxy. This is an important turning. The first time where your charms will change the course. And currently, we only have one suitable charm at our disposal. Have no fear. We can always return later using the Chronicle once we find more charms. Well, now I'm just rambling. Where were we? Rollo froze as Roxy took a step toward him, cracking her knuckles. Luca knew he had one chance to save his friend from being dragged home. In the past, he found the best way to deal with an enraged Roxy was to be a little chill. A bit much, if... Jeff's hardware closed down about a year. The effects of the foul harvest stretch. When there are no crops in the field, tractors don't need... A promise Gran regretted the second it was made. The phone booth was brand new. Part of Perennial Harvest's Beacon Pines Reborn. It didn't see much use. Luca peeked up at the bee. It appeared to be deserted. The Valentine Mansion loomed over every other building in town, both figuratively and literally. After the foul harvest destroyed their wealth, and the Valentines shuttered off their estate from the rest of town. The path led into a small hollow at the edge of Weepwood. The fence thrummed with a gentle electric buzz. Luca often asked himself what Rollo would do. So that he could rule out that option. As sparks sparks flew from the fence. The light atop that section, 2 bulbs remain. Lucan knew that if he gave up now, he'd never hear the end of it from Rollo. Lucan knew that if he gave up now, he'd never hear the end of it from Rollo.